Hello, my dear students. Good afternoon, all of you. In the last classes of our polytronic lectures, we have mainly discussed the importance of polytronic devices, necessity of polytronic devices. We have discussed the various polytronic devices symbols representation. In that, we mainly focused on silicon control rectifier, GTO SCR, IGBT, diag, triac in detail in the last classes. In that polytronic devices, the main advantage what we are getting is we are having control in the instant of conduction of the device. And at the same time, whenever we are operating these power semiconductor devices in power system components, power system circuits, large circuits, we need to turn on and turn off according to our requirement for having proper control in the circuit operation. But whenever we have discussed the characteristics of SCR, in that we have seen during forward bias, whenever we are applying forward bias to the SCR and gate signal to the SCR, the device will be in conduction. Device will be in conduction. But once the SCR is fired, there won't be any function of this gate signal in the silicon control rectifier. Even though it is acting like a fast as acting switch, the values of currents, latching current, holding current are minimum. But the main disadvantage what we are having is we are not having any control in the turning off of the device. To get that turning off of the device, we need certain extra circuit that has to be placed in SCR. Silicon control rectifier should have a circuit for turning off of the device. That turning off technique of thyristor, that is SCR, is called commutation technique. Commutation technique. So in this class, we are mainly focusing on commutation techniques of the SCR. Commutation techniques of the SCR. So commutation is nothing but it is a process of turning off of the SCR. For that, we are using different methods. In that types of commutation, mainly it will be two types: natural commutation, forced commutation. In natural commutation, we are having natural zero when we have subjected the component to AC supply. So whenever we are using AC circuits, we are using this natural commutation method. We are going to discuss what is natural commutation method, how we are turning off the device with the availability of AC supply. And the second one is forced commutation techniques. In AC supply system, as we are having natural zero, whenever the components are subjected to negative half cycle after natural zero, automatically the device will get turned off. But whenever we are operating with DC circuits, there won't be any natural zero and the reversing of signal may not be available. Negative half cycle is not available in DC supply. So in that case, we are forcefully reducing the current of the SCR, that is anode current of the SCR, from anode current to a value which is below the holding current. In forced commutation techniques, what we are doing is we are reducing the anode current which is less than holding current of the SCR. So when we are discussing the characteristics of SCR, in that VI characteristics we have represented two currents, very important, that latching current and holding current. So latching current is a current which is associated with the turning on of the SCR, turning on process of the SCR. And holding current is a current which is associated with the turning off process of the SCR. What is that holding current significance is whenever the current which is flowing through the device will be reduces below the holding current, the device will get a turn off. That's why in forced commutation techniques, we are reducing the anode current of the SCR below the holding current. We are going to see how we are achieving those in the next slides in detail. Types of commutations. So just now we have discussed it will be mainly two types, natural commutation and forced commutation. This forced commutation are further classified into class A, class B, class C, class D, class C, class C commutations. Different circuits we are implementing according to the requirement, and that we are using in the practical circuits depending on the load and supply system where we are implementing this commutation process. Natural commutation. Natural commutation process we are using in AC circuits. It is only applicable to AC circuits as the supply will be having alternating current. Whenever the current has to pass through its natural zero at the end of every positive half cycle, then the AC source applies a reverse bias across the device. So that passing of natural zero we are using in natural commutation. Natural commutation. Whenever the supply current passes through natural zero, then the device will automatically turn off. The SCR will be subjected to reverse bias automatically in natural commutation technique. So that we are using, and generally this technique will be implemented in AC voltage controller, cycloconverters, and phase control rectifiers. We are going to discuss in detail regarding this natural commutation process. It is also called as class F commutation. So in this class F commutation method, we have taken SCR. So this is thyristor, will be having terminals anode, cathode, gate. So here we have not shown the gate circuit, but inbuilt with the SCR, the gate circuit is also there. This SCR we are energizing from a AC source, alternating current source. Source will be represented as Vs, and in series with SCR, we are connecting a load. Load will be consisting of resistive load. Resistive load. So initially we are connecting the thyristor to AC supply. So the AC supply waveform representation will be like this. Vs, so it is a alternating current. From 0 to pi, we are having positive half cycle. From pi to 2 pi, we are having negative half cycle. And then the cycle will be repeating. So we will observe what exactly will be happening for the period of one cycle. One cycle for time duration, how the process will be happening in this circuit, we are going to see. And we are observing the output voltage and current through the load during the entire one cycle of the class of commutation. So initially when we are applying supply to the thyristor, the thyristor won't conduct. It will be acting like a open circuit. Open circuit. When we are providing firing signal to the SCR, the device will be in conduction. So let us assume we are applying a firing signal to this SCR at the time instant alpha is equal to 0. At 0 only we are applying the firing pulse and we are observing how the circuit will be operating. So this supply will be like this Vs. So it will be increasing from 0 to pi by 2 maximum as we are provided gate pulse to the SCR and it is already forward biased. The device is already forward biased during the positive half cycle. Device is forward biased and we applied the gate signal to the SCR. Gate signal is applied. So the device will be in conduction. We already discussed the process of conduction of SCR in our previous lectures. Now we are observing the natural commutation process. So as the device is forward biased and we have provided the gate signal, the device will be in conduction. So supply waveform will be appeared like this. So during positive half cycle, the thyristor will be in conduction. So whatever supply voltage will be, that will be appeared across the load resistance R. When neglecting on-state voltage drop of SCR, it is very minimum. Voltage drop across SCR we are assuming as 0. So whatever supply will be there, that will be appeared across the load. So load current will be flowing through the resistance. So it is represented like this. From 0 to pi, load current will be like this. So conduction takes place. Supply voltage will be appeared across the load. Load current will be like this. The voltage across thyristor will be almost 0 from 0 to pi. At instant pi, the supply will be subjected to natural 0. Natural 0. As supply will be subjected to natural 0 and SCR is energized from AC source, supply will be subjected to reverse bias. Subjected to reverse bias. So whenever this SCR is subjected to reverse bias, automatically the SCR will turn off. SCR will turn off and there won't be any current which is flowing through the load. So the current through the load will be 0. Whatever will be the supply voltage that will be appeared across the thyristor. So this negative portion will be appeared across the thyristor. So it won't conduct. We have to take care such that the device turn off time should be less than the circuit turn, the negative half cycle time. So if this happens, then the device will automatically turn off by its own. We need not to adopt any forced commutation circuit here. Need not require. As it is having natural 0, the device will automatically turn off as the thyristor is subjected to reverse bias. So this process is called a natural commutation process. In AC circuit, the current always passes through 0 for every half cycle. So whenever the current is passing through current 0, then the device will automatically turn off. The device will not turn off immediately. It will take some time. So we need to take care such that the time duration for negative half cycle should be more than the turn off time of the SCR as per data sheet. Next techniques will be forced commutation. So whenever the supply is AC, we need not to adopt any commutation techniques. But whenever we are operating with DC circuits, so there will be a problem. So in that case, we need to place another commutation circuit in series with the in SCR. We need to place a commutation circuit along with SCR. So that the commutation technique we are adapting in DC circuits are called forced commutation techniques. So this process will be called forced commutation process of SCR. Forced commutation process of SCR. In forced commutation, we are using elements called inductor and capacitor. Forced commutation techniques we are using forced commutation techniques will be used in DC circuits. So this forced commutation process will be achieved by reverse biasing SCR, reverse biasing SCR, and by reducing the current through SCR below the holding current. Holding current. The commutating elements such as inductors and capacitors will be used in forced commutation. We are going to see how we are achieving this forced commutation process. This forced commutation is applied in generally choppers and inverters. So this class A commutation process. Class A commutation. So this will be consisting of the passive components R, L, C, which are placed in series with the thyristor T1. This entire circuit will be connected in series with the supply, DC supply. And here the components R and C will be connected in parallel whenever the rating will be more. And here we are choosing the components RLC such that whenever the rating of whenever the circuit will be forming under damped circuit, then this commutation process will be achieved. So this process, as the load will itself commutating the ACR, so that's why it is called load commutation. Load commutation. So initially, when we are applying supply through ACR, when we are firing the ACR, the current will be flowing through R, that is your load. Here, the capacitor will be charging up to Vs. Whenever the capacitor is charged up to Vs, it will be fully charged and there won't be any current flow through the device. At that time, the stored energy across inductor will be appeared across the thyristor in a reverse bias. Therefore, the thyristor T1 will get commutated, turned off, turned off. So, with the process of load, with the parameters of load, as it is designed as underdamped circuit, automatically the device will turn off itself. So this is the load commutation process. So here we will observe the waveform representation. So in this we are observing the gate current of the thyristor and we are observing the voltage across the capacitor, current through the SCR and voltage across the SCR. So initially when we are applying gate pulse to the SCR, the supply voltage will be passing through the load in this closed path. Whenever it is passing, the capacitor will be charging up to maximum value of supply voltage. So it will be charging. Whenever it is charging, current will be flowing through the main thyristor T1. So whenever the capacitor will be fully charged, again the current through the ACR will be zero, zero. So whenever the current is flowing, the thyristor is acting like a short circuit. So that's why the voltage across thyristor T1 will be zero. So the energy stored across inductor will be appeared in reverse direction across main thyristor. So that's why the energy stored in inductor will be appeared in the voltage in the reverse bias. With that, the capacitor energy will be slowly, voltage across capacitor will be slowly decreases, and with the available energy of inductor, the resistor will be turned off. When it is turned off, there won't be any current through the device. So what exactly happening in this is, when we are firing the thyristor, current is flowing through the circuit. Whenever current is flowing, the capacitor will be charging. When it is charges up to supply voltage, it will be acting like a open circuit. When it is acting like a open circuit, the energy stored across inductor will be appeared in the reverse direction across main thyristor T1. Then this T1 will be turned off. Due to load parameters, the thyristor T1 is turned off. That's why we are calling it as load commutation process. Load commutation process. So whenever the resistance is low, this L and C are connected in series. The load is low, it will be connected in series. If R is high, then R and C will be connected in parallel. For that, L is connected in series. And the requirement is the system is under damped. So when we are energizing from a DC source, the current have naturally decays to zero, as it is a under damped system. The changes in direction of current make the resistor off. Oscillating current flows. Because of that, the current has to passes through zero, then the current will become zero whenever the SCR is turned on. So this is a load commutation process. Next we are going to discuss class B commutation. Class B commutation. So here this is the circuit diagram for class B commutation. So this is our main thyristor. Our intention is to turn off this thyristor T1. In this commutation process, we are going to turn off main thyristor T1. Here this is our supply. The supply will be placed. It is a DC supply, and here we are having main thyristor. This will be connected to a load. Across this main thyristor, the commutating components L and C will be placed, and also an auxiliary thyristor will be placed. While operating this circuit, we are making few assumptions. They are: load current is assumed constant. So here we are having sufficient inductance so that it will maintain current through the circuit will be always constant. And L and C circuit is resonating in nature. This is resonating in nature. And we are also assuming that the capacitor will be charged to a voltage VC. Capacitor will be charged to a voltage VT, and we are placing a diode. The diode will allow current only in one direction. From bottom to top it will allow. It won't conduct from top to bottom. Okay. So here we have applied the supply Vs. So initially the capacitor will be charged to a voltage Vc. Vc. Our intention is to turn off main thyristor T1. So initially we are providing gate pulse to the thyristor T1. So because of this supply, the current will be flowing through main thyristor T1, and in this closed path, the current will be flowing. Thyristor is in conduction. Okay. At some instant, to have proper control in the circuit, we need to turn off this main thyristor T1. To turn off this thyristor T1, what we are doing is we are turning on auxiliary thyristor TA. Auxiliary thyristor TA. So whenever this auxiliary thyristor is turned on, so supply will be flowing through this closed path, and it will be flowing through, the current will be flowing through load from supply PS, then through the main thyristor TA, auxiliary thyristor TA, and through diode D, current will be flowing in this closed path. Whenever the current will be flowing in this closed path, the capacitor current also will be flowing. As capacitor is fully charged, capacitor current also flows in this closed path, and the polarity of capacitor will be reverses. Polarity of capacitor will be reverses, and the stored energy across capacitor will be appeared in reverse direction across main thyristor T1. The energy available across capacitor, so here it will be positively charged, it will be appears reverse bias across the main thyristor T1. So whenever the thyristor is subjected to reverse bias, the device will automatically turn up. We are going to see the circuit operation in detail. Next slide. So here the supply will be appeared. So initially the capacitor will be charging in this closed path, and the capacitor will be fully charged. Whenever capacitor is fully charged, the diode will not conduct in the reverse direction. Initially both resistor T1 and T2 are off. Capacitor will be charged. So whenever capacitor is charged, the device diode will be turned off. It won't conduct. Now we are giving firing signal to main resistor T1. So current will be flowing through the load. Capacitor is fully charged. At the instant when we want to turn on the thyristor TA, when we want to turn off the thyristor T1, for that we need to turn on auxiliary thyristor TA. When we are turning on auxiliary thyristor TA, the capacitor will be discharged and it will be charging with the opposite polarity due to LC circuit, resonating LC circuit. Now the capacitor polarity will be like this. It is positively charged. Capacitor polarity reverses. Capacitor polarity here on the left side we are having plus. Here on the left side we are getting minus. Capacitor polarity reverses. And this reverse biased capacitor, here we are having diode. This diode is subjected to forward bias. Positive terminal will be connected to P layer of the diode and negative terminal will be connected to N layer of the device. Because of this forward bias, the diode will conduct and it will apply reverse bias across the main thyristor T1. So with that reverse bias, the device will become turn off. Turn off. This capacitor voltage will be appeared across main thyristor T1 and the thyristor T1 will be turn on. So this is how the class B commutation circuit will operate for turning off of the thyristor. This series LC circuit is connected across the T1 in parallel with. Initially the capacitor is fully charged and it is having a voltage of V volts. The current in LC oscillations will turn on. The current in LC oscillates when TA is turned on. Auxiliary thyristor is switched on, then the current in LC will be oscillating, the polarity of capacitor will be changing. When T1 is turned off, the T1 is turned off when the capacitor discharges through thyristor in opposite direction. So here, if we closely observe, this voltage will be appeared across thyristor T1. This current will not go through the load because load impedance will be more than the impedance offered by the thyristor. That's why it will flow through the main thyristor T1 and it will reverse bias. Capacitor polarity is reverse biased. This voltage will drive current and that won't go through the load. It will go through the main thyristor T1. So that is how the thyristor will be turned off in class B commutation. Next type of commutation is class C commutation. In this, we are using two thyristors in parallel and these are connected in series with the load resistances. So here we are having a DC supply. DC supply will be connected across parallel combinations of these thyristors and load combinations. In between these two branches, we are connecting a capacitor. In this, to commute one thyristor, we are turning on another thyristor. To switch off one thyristor, we are giving firing pulse. We are turning on another thyristor. Assume initially we are giving trigger pulse to any one of the thyristor. Suppose if we have fired thyristor T2, then the thyristor T2 will be in conduction as it is subjected to forward bias. So here P terminal will be connected to plus and the internal will be connected to negative of supply. It is forward biased and we have applied gate signal. So the current will be flowing through the thyristor in this closed path and the capacitor will also charge in this closed path. Capacitor is charging and current will be flowing through the thyristor. At the instant when we want to turn off this thyristor T2, what we will do is we will turn on thyristor T1. When we are turning on thyristor T1, the voltage across capacitor will be appeared in a reverse direction to thyristor T2. So initially when we are turned on T2, what happens is the capacitor will be charging. So it's in this left side we are having plus and right side we are having minus. In this with this polarity the capacitor will be charging. We are going to see. Now in the next slide we are going to see this representation. Now when we are turning on T1, so here we are having a short circuit. Current will be flowing through T1 and capacitor will be discharges through T1. The capacitor voltage will be appeared in reverse direction to the T2. T2. So this plus will be appeared across this thyristor, minus will be appeared across this thyristor. So the thyristor will be turned off. That means complementary circuit we are using. To turn off one thyristor, we are turning on another thyristor. So we will see in detail. Suppose initially when SCR is turned on, SCR1 is turned on. So when SCR1 is turned on, the current will be flowing through load in this closed path and also another current will be flowing through capacitor in this closed path. The capacitor will be charged to a voltage up to supply voltage. Supply voltage. Whenever the capacitor is charged, after some time when we want to turn off thyristor T2, when we want to commute thyristor T1, we will conduct thyristor T2. We will trigger thyristor T2. So whenever T2 is in conduction, the supply will be appeared across the load in this closed path. Okay. So the current will be flowing in this closed path. When current is flowing in this closed path, already the capacitor is fully charged. So this capacitor voltage will be appeared in reverse direction to the existing thyristor T1. So here minus will be appeared, this plus will be appeared across thyristor T1, then the thyristor will be turned off. So this is the circuit when T2 is turned on, the capacitor fully charged. Here this is the circuit when the thyristor is in T1 is in conduction and the capacitor is charged. Okay. So this is how to turn off one thyristor, we are turning on another thyristor. So this is called complementary commutation. Next commutation method we are going to discuss is class D commutation. It is also called as voltage commutation. In this also we are making two assumptions. The load current is assumed constant and capacitor is initially charged. See, the connection diagram for class D commutation will be like this. This is the main thyristor we are using. So this is supply voltage. This is load. To turn off thyristor T1, we are using these auxiliary components in the circuit. This L and C will be connected across the main thyristor and another thyristor TA will be connected in the circuit. So initially the supply will be appeared whenever we are turning on thyristor T1, the current will be flowing through the load in this manner. Whenever we are turning on thyristor T1, the thyristor T1 conducts and supply will be appeared across the load in this closed path. Current will be flowing. Now to turn off thyristor T1, we are using this auxiliary thyristor and the LNC resonating circuit along with this diode to turn off the main thyristor T1. T1. So to turn off that, we are going to see in detail. So here we are having main thyristor T1, capacitor, auxiliary thyristor TA, inductor. So initially the thyristor T1 and T2 will be off and the capacitor will be fully charged. We are placing a capacitor which is fully charged. Now we are firing thyristor T1. The current will be flowing through the load in this closed direction. In this closed direction. Now the thyristor TA will be off. To turn off thyristor T1, we are turning on main thyristor. We are turning on auxiliary thyristor TA. So whenever this is turned on, the current will be the current will be flowing through the capacitor and it will be appears reverse bias across the main thyristor T1. Main thyristor T1. The capacitor voltage will be appeared in reverse direction across the main thyristor T1 and the T1 will be turns off. Turns off. When T1 turns off, the current will be flowing through auxiliary thyristor TA through load and the capacitor will be charges. So this is the circuit, commutation circuit. Initially both the thyristors are off and the capacitor is fully charged. We are using. So we are turning on main thyristor T1 by applying a trigger signal. The current will be flowing through the load because of supply and the load will be having voltage and at certain time we need to turn off thyristor T1 due to load requirements. For that, whenever as the thyristor T1 is forward biased, the capacitor will discharge through in this closed path and capacitor will be charging in the reverse polarity. And to turn off T1, we are turning on auxiliary thyristor TA. Capacitor voltage will be appeared in reverse direction to the main thyristor and the T1 will be turned off. We have already discussed this capacitor current will not flow through load because it always searches the closed low resistance path. So this voltage will be appeared across main thyristor T1 and it will turn off. Like this, the class D commutation circuit operates. And again, the capacitor will be charges in this closed path. We are applying the voltage across the capacitor in a reverse direction by using auxiliary thyristor. That's why we are calling it as voltage commutation. Voltage commutation technique. This is a circuit explanation. Please all of you go through the ones. Next one is class E commutation. Class E commutation. Here this is the circuit for class E commutation. This is a battery and it will be connected to main thyristor. And here we are using a transformer, pulse transformer, which is placed in series with the load. The secondary of this pulse transformer will be connected in series with the load. So here we are having battery. Okay. So normally whenever the ICR is turned on, the current will be flowing through thyristor and load through the secondary of the pulse transformer. Whenever we want to turn off the main thyristor T2, main thyristor T1, here we are applying pulse across the primary of the pulse transformer. Then it will appear reverse bias across main thyristor and it will turn off. So this is class E commutation technique. So these are the different commutation methods which we are adopting for SCR. In SCR we are not having any turning off mechanism. So that's why we are using these two techniques, natural commutation and the forced commutation. So natural commutation we are using for AC circuits. Forced commutation we are adopting for DC circuits. So we are having these different five techniques of forced commutation and we are adapting the suitable technique according to our requirement. If you have any questions, you can post that in comment box. Thank you all of you for your patient listening, all of you.